Johnny, question for you.
Yeah.
If I was somewhere in Kokomo and it wasn't our house and it wasn't the flower shop, where would I be?
Easy. Humble home.
Yes, you're right. You guys, listen up. Humble Home is my absolute favorite place to be for so many reasons. No matter what I am looking for, I always check Humble Home first. Clothes, shoes, toys, decor, furniture, makeup, they literally always have something that I need. They have brand name items for cheap. Their inventory is constantly changing, so it's part of my weekly routine to do a Humble Home walkthrough. You absolutely need to stop by. I promise you won't be disappointed. While it is a discount store, it's not your average discount store. It's clean, organized, and everything has its place. I get zero anxiety when I go in, unlike other discount stores. And no matter what you're shopping for, a home project, gifts, home decor, even seasonal decor, they will have it. They are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday from noon to 5. You can follow them on Facebook at Humble Home Kokomo and watch for new items every single day. And for our Lafayette, Indiana listeners, I have exciting news. They are opening a second location in Lafayette soon. As soon as I have the details, I will let you know their opening date. Get excited. I'm Kayla Keith, and this is Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast about those that have gone missing. Today's case is about a 23-year-old that left her house and hasn't been seen since, and why her parents think the police are to blame. Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
Just,
Holding that baby.
holding this baby.
Yep, she's just going to be a true crime little...
She's literally
What is
smiling
she?
right now. Look at this.
I know. She's adorable. She's perfect.
She loves Missing Midwest.
She likes true crime. Why wouldn't she?
It's all she's heard for the last 9-10 months.
That's true. She's been involved in every case.
It's true.
You have any announcements today?
Not really. I just kind of wanted to address the commercial thing. We've kind of been, some of the shorter episodes we recognize have been kind of jam-packed with commercials. We've got some different strategies to help work around that. So,
we did have somebody message us about that.
And I get it. I've listened to the episodes myself, and especially that last one was a little shorter. It was just like commercial. So we're fixing that. We're addressing that. Just want to let you know.
Yep.
Other than that, just get your long sleeve tee weather. That's all I got.
Okay. I don't have anything. I never have announcements. I'm too excited to get into the case.
Let's
So
roll.
you ready? Okay,
ready.
so today we are talking about Phoenix Coldon. And this is a weird case, okay? It's got a lot of twists and turns, and I truly, when we're done, I have no idea what happened. There's
Wow,
a couple
okay.
possibilities. It's one of those that
For you not to have an opinion on something
I don't. Well,
it must be
very rarely do I not have an opinion on something, but I don't know.
It's really confusing.
I just don't know what happened to her. Okay, so she was last seen in the driveway of her family home in Spanish Lake, Missouri. Spanish Lake has a population of 18,000. It's like a suburb of St. Louis, and we know that St. Louis is like half in Missouri, half in Illinois, and so it's like on the Missouri side. Is it on Illinois? Is it Illinois?
Kansas.
No, it's Illinois.
She's right. I'm sorry.
Kansas.
Kansas City's kind of in both, right?
You're thinking of the
That's
wrong.
what it
It's halfway. It's Missouri and Illinois.
Yeah,
St.
yeah.
Louis is.
Yeah, you're good.
And
I'm
so
sorry.
she's on the Missouri side. They have like $2 Generals in the vicinity of that suburb, but there's like tons in the St. Louis area. So,
Right.
we can go there. So Phoenix was a 23-year-old junior at University State of Missouri in 2011. She was born Phoenix Reeves on May 23rd, 1988 in California, but they moved to Missouri for her dad's job when she was just a little girl. Her mom's name was Goldia Reeves. She actually married another guy when they got them to Missouri named Lawrence Coldon, who adopted Phoenix. So that's who she grew up with as her mom and dad. Her family was very, very religious. Goldia homeschooled her. And she became the junior fencing champion of St. Louis.
Whoa, fencing champ.
Which I love that. I think that's so just like badass, just like random hobbies like that.
Like, if
You're like-
you're gonna do something, might as well be
Like
great at it.
it's
You know?
unusual, but she was the best.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to be the best at it, and I'm going to be the fencing champion of St. Louis County. Thank you. So yeah, she actually was really good at a lot of stuff. So she had mastered like several instruments. She was really good at guitar, piano, the
Multi-talented.
handbells at her church. She was like a
Rocking with the
handbell.
handbells.
Yeah,
I wish I had just one musical talent.
I know.
I could throw a football and it was cool for like 10 years now.
If I could learn, I wish I could learn to play an instrument. I would play the handbells if I could, and I promise you I can't.
What if you and I just commit right now to being great at the handbell?
you know those colored ones
Yeah.
that we
The little cards.
I
Like,
couldn't even
man,
do that.
green.
I screwed it up. Anyway, so she was a just really outgoing little girl, very talented. After she turned 18, she had got her parents to co-sign a lease for an apartment, and she moved into it with her friend and started college. And so we are going to go back to December 18th that year, 2011. Okay, so that's my senior year. So Phoenix visited her parents. She actually had moved back home, which I can imagine is really hard at 23 to move back home with your super strict parents after living on your own in an apartment. So she had moved back home. And that day, her parents, it was a Sunday, so her and her mom had went to church, and they stopped at the store, and they got home. At around 3 p.m. that day, her dad said that she walked by him in the living room, and she went outside to her car, which was a 1998 black Chevy Blazer. It was actually her mom's car, but she used it. And he said it wasn't unusual for her to like go out to the car to take a phone call just for like some privacy. And so she walked by him, and he just assumed she was going out there to do it. But then a few minutes later, he heard the car start up, and she left. And he said this was unusual because usually she would always tell them like where she was going or what, but he just thought maybe she's running to the store or whatever. That was the last time anybody saw her.
Yikes.
Like she was gone. So later that night, her mom knew something was wrong. She had a curfew of 1 a.m. Even though she was 23, like she still had to abide by her parents' rules because she lived in the house.
Enough.
And so she had this curfew. She always needed to let them know where she was at. She hadn't let them know. She didn't come home. As the night goes on, her mom's like, something's wrong. And so she calls the cops to report her missing. So a cop comes to the house and takes the report. As soon as they say she's 23, the cop is like, nah, like
Run away.
Well, he just said it doesn't matter. She's 23.
Oh, I mean, see what you're saying. Yeah.
He's like, what do you want me to do? She can go
Yeah.
wherever she wants. She's 23. Yeah. And so
our job is not to enforce curfews on 23-year-olds.
Yes, and so he basically just blew it off immediately. He did, however, after some begging, Goldia was like, this is not normal. And so he ran the car, like the registration, to see if anybody had like come up with anything or seen it, and like nothing had happened. And so for the next 2 weeks, Goldia and her husband Lawrence, they did everything. They made posters.
Like the police weren't helping.
The police did not help at all. Like nothing.
And so she just like stopped going to, well, I guess Christmas
like they
break.
didn't even take the police report.
Because I mean, if you missed so many classes in college, they have to report you missing for that. But
That's
December,
true.
Christmas break.
Okay, well, I'm getting to that.
Did you say the date?
Hold on now. Calm down
you
there.
You know how I am.
December 18th was the date.
Timelines.
Okay, calm down. So they spent the next 2 weeks looking on their own. She called every news station. She could not get any help. Her parents, they believed that it was because she was African American. They were like, nobody's helping us. The news stations don't care. The police aren't helping. They literally did everything themselves, and I can see that to an extent, but also like the police said, she was 23, and so I see both sides of it. But they were obviously frustrated, and Goldia even reported she was annoyed. She had a hard time with her friends even helping. She said her own friends didn't even care, like that she was missing. And so they were just frustrated from the get-go with this investigation. I'm putting investigation in air quotes because it was bad. So anyway, Goldia's car was found within 2 weeks. Actually, okay.
The truck that she
Hold on. Okay. Goldia's car was actually found within hours of Phoenix going missing. It was located on the corner of 9th Street and St. Clair Avenue in East St. Louis, Illinois. However, it was in Illinois, not Missouri. It was at 5:27 p.m., a 25-minute drive from her home, but in another state.
So when they ran the plates,
so the car
pulled up in Missouri.
The police didn't even report it. So when he ran the plates, nothing came up because they didn't actually do their job. Had they done their job and reported it, then when he ran the plates that next morning, it would have popped up.
So why would they? Why
so
would they
they
run the
literally
in the first place right there, though?
Impounded it as in abandoned.
Oh.
The local police at 6:23 p.m., an hour after it was found, they just towed it to an impound lot and said it was abandoned. It was found, okay, on the side of the road, door open, car running. Why would you not immediately do something. Like, I don't know what the protocol is as a cop, like some sort of police report or
I mean,
like
my first
suspicious
thought
vehicle
when
or
I
something.
saw that picture was somebody got ripped out of that car.
Yeah. Like I said, running, keys in the ignition, running, door wide open on the side of the road at this intersection. So instead of like doing what you should do, like doing a police report or whatever, they just like had it towed. And so when the cop did come,
with no report of a license plate or anything.
Yeah, so when the cop did come and Goldia, kind of pushed and he ran the plates, nothing popped up.
Big yikes.
Yeah. One of the best decisions I've ever made for myself is something I never thought I would do. You want to know my secret? Hiring a cleaning company. Like, who does that? I never thought I would say that I'm going to have my house clean for me. But in this season of life with young kids and sports and work and side hustles, I had to decide how I wanted to spend my free time, and cleaning was not on that list. Stanley Cleaning Company has given me my free time back. They come once a month and they sweep and mop my entire house and clean my bathrooms for me. And let me tell you, it is my favorite day of the month. Coming home to a sparkling clean house and knowing that I just saved 3+ hours of my time to spend with my kids is such a mental health game changer for me. It doesn't matter who from their team comes, they leave my house shining. And the best part is it's affordable. Christine offers an a la carte menu. You can do a general or a deep cleaning, just a sweep and a mop. You can do once a month or every week, a spring cleaning or a pre-party clean. She even has a postpartum mom clean that happens while you're in the hospital having your baby, and I can attest to that. It is amazing. Give them a call today for a free quote, and I promise it will be the best self-care you can imagine. You can find them on Facebook at Stanley Cleaning Company, or you can give her a call or a text at 765-860-3606. So 2 weeks later, a family friend was out driving, helping the family look, and he drives by the impound lot and sees the car. And he's like, hey,
he said,
wait a minute. And he called her parents and he was like, guys, I found the car. Like, this is it. And so the family goes there. The police were like, oh, well, yeah, we found that car. It was abandoned. There's nothing inside of it. Blah, blah, blah. And the family's like, okay, well, that's our car. So they go and they get it out of the impound lot. When they get it out of the impound lot, they're like, okay, well, nothing's in it. They open it up.
So much stuff in it.
Her purse, her shoes, some clothes of hers, her personal belongings, her wallet, her glasses, just like all this stuff just like strewn about. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Goodness.
They could have been searching or using this evidence, but they didn't. They just gave it back to the family and said, nope, there was nothing in it. And the family was like, I accept everything that she owns.
Seriously.
Like I said, littered with her belongings, literally everywhere. This is where things start to like come out more about Phoenix and her life. And so Goldia, she said, I just wish the police would have done what they were supposed to do by running those plates and seeing that vehicle was registered to me. Because had they ran those plates that night when they found that vehicle, they would have seen that. And so she said the police didn't even search the area after finding the car. All they had to do was call and say, hey, is this your car? We found it. And they could have started putting that puzzle together, and they didn't. So when the family friend, on January 1st is when they found the car at the impound lot, the family friend did. They, like I said, when Goldia went and picked it up, they said they never created an inventory list. They never, they have a police report of it, and they gave her the police report. She actually had a private investigator, and so the private investigator was able to obtain the police report, and it said in there, nothing was found, which wasn't true. And it had pages 1, 2, 3, 4, missing 5, and page 6.
What the heck? Yeah.
And no explanation where the missing page was. It also said victim, African-American female.
How did they know that? And
what makes you think there's a victim? You said that it was just an abandoned car. Why did you classify somebody as a victim here, but there's no investigation? So all of these things were questioned by the private investigator and by the family. Police had no answers. They absolutely nothing.
There has to be some reason that you made that classification.
Still had not opened an investigation on this. She's still missing. So they are paying for this private investigator to like do an investigation because they literally can't
light the world on fire.
Yeah, they cannot get help from the local police. So she actually had to contact the mayor's office in order to have the $1,000 bill for the impound waived. And so she was able to do that. The police department conducted like 2 searches in the weeks that followed on their own, 2 half-assed searches. Still would not give the family information. This is in February of 2012 now. Lawrence Coldon, he was quoted, he said, we could have had a 2-week start here, but you didn't do your job. You're not doing your job now. So one of her friends was like, hey, have you talked to Phoenix's boyfriend? And her parents were like, excuse me? Boyfriend? Like, she doesn't have a boyfriend. And they're like, yeah, she does. She lives with him.
What?
And they're
Wait
like,
a minute.
What? Come to find out, that friend that she was sharing the apartment with was actually a man. It was her boyfriend, a longtime boyfriend that she had never told her parents about.
Wow.
Her mom had been to the apartment like several times and said there was no sign of a man. She just thought she was living with a college friend. It was also around this time that her parents found out that she didn't register for classes for spring semester.
Whoa.
Yeah, she was not going back to school. They did not know that. So that's where they were at with that. They also, so they had spent...
That'd be tough to hear as a parent.
Yeah,
Like, you're doing
so at
everything
this
you can
point...
to find her, and then you're finding this
So
out.
at this point, they're like, okay, so some of these like secret things are coming out. There was an investigative reporter that took interest in the case, actually one of the only reporters that took interest in the case. And she kind of uncovered by interviewing people that Phoenix was actually... had been communicating with like some different men in different forms. And they actually found a second cell phone that her boyfriend didn't even know about that she was using to contact different people. And so her parents at this point, they're like, this is an entire like secret life that they've uncovered here about their daughter. Yeah. And so at this point, police are definitely like, she left. Like she left on her own. They're not doing anything.
Can't unsee that car picture though.
So yeah, so the police are like fully out. We're done. Like she left on her own. She had this secret life. So now all that we're left with is the parents and their investigator. Phoenix had recorded a video on her cell phone before she disappeared, and she had spoke about like wanting to start over. She said she wanted a new me. She recited the Serenity Prayer. She asked God to like accept the things that she can't change. And she said she can't remember a time when she was happy, and she just wanted this like new me. So that also played into the police being like...
we said last episode, we were like, if you're going to run away, we want a note.
Yeah, yeah. So police, like, with all of this information, the police are out. They're like,
that video.
Literally,
geez.
she just said she wants to leave. She's 23. We don't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Erica, a girl named Erica, another long-term friend of Phoenix's, and her neighbor actually grew up with her, said she felt like Phoenix was going through some sort of like very dramatic life change. She said she was acting strange. She said she had mentioned that somebody was following her.
Big yikes.
Personality change. She said she almost didn't recognize her from the childhood friend that she knew in the last couple of months before her disappearance.
Weird.
So now the parents are like, she didn't run away. Like, she's obviously going through something, but they don't think that, that she ran away. It was around this time that they found a second birth certificate.
What?
Yeah. They found a birth certificate for Phoenix Reeves, who she was born as, her first name, the first last name, and a birth certificate for when she was adopted by Lawrence Coldon. So she had 2 birth certificates.
Well, so she naturally had 2 birth certificates.
Yeah. But like, you can't have 2 birth certificates. Like, once she was adopted. When she's adopted,
They just destroy the old one?
I guess, yeah. I mean,
Really?
it's officially legal that she's Phoenix Coldon now. But apparently she still had this other one. So the private investigator figured all of this out. There was 4 Phoenix Reeves in the United States. He ruled all of them out as being Phoenix, except for one that was living in Anchorage, Alaska. He was never able to locate that person to rule out that it was Phoenix.
So, like, it could have been her.
Could have been.
And what year was that?
Not weird.
What year was that they were trying to figure this out?
2012. No, she didn't enroll. It doesn't say what year that was. This is all just like happening after 2012, before 2014.
The Phoenix in Alaska was there like shortly after. I mean, just a couple years.
Just a couple years after she went missing, yes. And so the investigator was trying to rule out the 4 Phoenix Reeves that he found, thinking maybe she was using that other birth certificate.
Sure.
And he found 4 people in America, and one of them he was not able to, the Alaska one, which if you were going to disappear, wouldn't you go to Alaska? That's what Dexter did.
Yeah.
And so he was not able to fully rule out that person, like he couldn't find that person to like rule out that was her. In 2014, Phoenix's good friend named Kelly grew up with her in church, best friends, really good friends with her. She was on a flight home from Vegas when a group of women got on the plane, and she said it was Phoenix. She saw her. She said she was really well dressed. She looked great. And she said out of like surprise, she said, Phoenix. And the woman turned around and looked at her. And she said that the lady looked at her and was like, do I look like someone you know? And she was like, yes, you look like my friend Phoenix, like blah, blah, blah. She said the lady just like blew her off and turned around and walked to her seat. She was with some women and like 2 large men who she described looked like they could be pro football players. She said they were huge. She wouldn't talk to her anymore, and she said they like immediately when the plane landed like got off. She was so convinced she immediately went to the airport police and was like, I just saw my missing friend.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. And
they searched the entire airport and could not find her, but she's convinced that's who it was. So Gloria and Lawrence spent their entire life savings searching for Phoenix. They paid this private investigator. They just put every resource they had into finding her because they believed that she was still alive. There was a man in Texas who contacted the family, and he claimed he knew where she was. He had a lot of like facts and stuff about Phoenix that led the family to believe this was real.
Like it was credible?
Yeah, very credible. Huh. However, they went out there. They literally used everything they had. And when they made it out there, like he was lying. It was all fake.
That's ridiculous.
And they ended up almost lost their house in foreclosure because they used their entire savings. They couldn't even pay for their house anymore because of this man that just like lied, which I don't know why people do that. Are you looking to buy or sell in 2024? Let Amber White help you find your home sweet home. Amber is a local realtor to the Kokomo and Howard County area, and when I say she knows her stuff, she knows her stuff. When we decided to move closer to family, I literally messaged Amber and told her I wanted to sell my house, and then later I want to buy this house, and she made it all happen. Buying and selling is such an overwhelming process, but Amber seriously took care of every single step and eliminated all the stress for us. Her knowledge was invaluable, and while I say I never want to move again, I know exactly who to call if we decide to. Follow her on Facebook at Amber White, Realtor /broker with Carrie Gruhl and Associates, or you can give her a call at 765-865-1118. Like I said, they spent all their money. They turned over everything that they could. So the three, why can't I think of the word here? The 3 theories here. Okay.
Yeah.
These are the 3 theories that we have. Okay.
Hit me with the theories.
After all these weird things that have happened, these are the 3 things that her family, not the police, because the police aren't even involved in it, believe that happened. Okay. So foul play. Phoenix's car was found abandoned. Obviously, that screams foul play. Her stuff was in there.
Like the door ripped open, it's still running.
Yes.
It's hard to look at that and think that's normal.
But there was no evidence of a struggle in or around the car. And then we have that friend that said she felt like she was being watched in the weeks before she was missing. There was no witnesses to back up anything happened to her on the side of the road, though. And there was no activity on her bank cards or anything like that.
True.
So foul play, probably, but not a whole lot of evidence to show that.
Yeah.
The next one, and probably the biggest one, is sex trafficking. Okay. There was a woman in St. Louis who just a few years ago was at a stoplight. This is also Crime Junkie here. This is why you keep your doors locked. She was at a stoplight. A man walked up to her driver's side door, ripped her door open, drug her out of her car, threw her into the car that was behind her at the stoplight, drove her 3 hours away to a house where him and some other men repeatedly raped her and drugged her. And they informed her that they were going to sell her for sex.
What the heck?
And they kept her in that house for a while. They left. The guy that they left in charge of her got drunk and passed out. And she was able to get out and run to the nearest house where the neighbor thankfully called 911. and she made it out that she went to the hospital. The police came to the hospital. She said she never talked to the police again. Said from the get-go they did not even care about her story. But she said that is her story. That's what I'm doing. So obviously when the Coldons hear about this, they're like, holy crap. Like, that's the same thing that happened to Phoenix in the same city. And so now the family's thinking like sex trafficking might be like an actual thing. I mean, Interstate 70, which was close to where her car was, has been called the sex trafficking superhighway through that city. They say that traffickers can move easily through St. Louis neighborhoods. There's like motels along the route. They said Phoenix probably isn't like a typical victim of it because she had a good support system. Right. She was like in college, educated, stable home, stable family. But they said she would have been naive in the sense that like she did grow up homeschooled and kind of sheltered. And so she might have been a little bit more vulnerable in that sense. But also her door was just left open on the road. Like your first thing you said was it looked like somebody had been ripped out of that car. Yeah. 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 And some men are ripping women out of their cars in St. Louis and trying to traffic them. So in the back of the family's mind, this is like one of the biggest one. And then the other one is that she left voluntarily. So we have... the
thing that sucks is you have clues to support all three of those.
Exactly. That's why this case is so mind-blowing. When you talk about leaving voluntarily, they have that video that they found on her phone talking, literally saying she wanted a new life.
Like I feel like I'm usually like quick to rule out the runaway scenario. Yeah. You can't be quick here. No. There's a video saying, I want a new start.
Her friend Erica said she talked about leaving. The private detective actually found out that Phoenix had cashed out $2,500 in bonds in the couple weeks before she left.
Jeez.
She had that extra birth certificate that she wasn't supposed to have.
She lined up a runaway. Whether she did or not, she lined it up.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, you have that Phoenix Reeves in Alaska that was not able to. There was an address connected to the Anchorage, Alaska Phoenix Reeves, but they were not able. There was no birth. It said there was no birth date and no social security number connected to the name, but there was an address, and so they were not able to find out if that truly was. The other three people were like, "Yeah, my name's Phoenix Reeves. I live here. This is my social security," and they're like, "Oh, that's not you." But that last one, they couldn't. So, I mean, out of all three possible scenarios here, all three of them are so freaking possible. Yeah. I mean, foul play, sex trafficking is foul play, but like foul play, just like randomly some crazy man took her, possible somebody snatched her for sex trafficking, possible she just left. Yeah. All of them have like backup evidence here for all of them, I feel like. So yeah, that's the story of Phoenix Reeves. She's still missing. Her family's still looking for her. The police were literally zero help through the entire thing. Which, I mean, I hate that. Like, me too. But then when you give them the information that like
those problems from the very beginning are frustrating.
The very beginning problems. But again, what are they supposed to do? A 23-year-old that's just...
So like my thing is like, here's what I hate. So like the runaway scenario looks good in a lot of ways, but do you stage a runaway like that with your car door open, car running, your stuff all over the place? Like, is that how you start your runaway? Like, I say no, because there's going to be, if you leave your car like that, I mean, here's the thing though. If you were like, okay, here's how I'm going to do it, you would have to assume that the police are going to find that and start looking for you immediately.
Yeah, like, you couldn't bet on the police sucking at their job.
You couldn't bet on the police just not running your plates and putting
Very
it
true.
in impound.
Very true.
You know? So, like, if you were going to run away...
But she did cross the state line, so maybe she thought that it would give her a head start because they wouldn't connect it right away, which they didn't.
Then, you could just go park somewhere and just leave it in a Motel 6 parking lot for a week.
I know. I don't know. What about that girl? Remember that lady, was that last year, that staged her own kidnapping? And she left her car on the side of the road.
You're right.
I mean, maybe she wanted to cause, like, a little commotion with it.
Maybe.
And then when they didn't, she's like, well, damn, they didn't even care. They didn't even care. I don't know. I think the sex trafficking, and then you have those guys, that sighting of her, that screams sex trafficking to me. A group of women being escorted by two pro football player looking men, and she said like she wouldn't even look at her, and she hurried off the plane, and like
they couldn't find her in the airport. It's hard to get out of an airport fast.
She says like it was her. Like I grew up with her. I know it was her. So, I mean, you have that. That's a credible sighting right there.
Yeah. And so then what sucks is either way there's going to be coincidences.
Yeah.
Because, like, if it's sex trafficking, then it's just a coincidence that she had the runaway video, cashed out her bonds, had the birth certificate, found somebody in Alaska.
Yeah,
like, those
that's
are all
a lot.
coincidences.
That's a lot of coincidences.
That's a lot of coincidences. But, man.
I know. I told
one.
you. It's a crazy
That is
case.
a
You
tough
just don't
one.
really know. I don't really have an opinion on it either. Like, I don't know.
I
don't know where
like
Phoenix
to
is.
forego any of those coincidences.
Me neither.
That's tough.
Yeah. Well, someone knows where she is. Someone knows something. That's what we say about every case. There's a lot of possibilities here, but I do believe that someone knows something. So if you saw something or know something.
I mean, you're talking 2011. Like, she very well could still be alive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if she ran away, obviously, if it was sex trafficking,
She still could be
she
alive.
could still be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's 13 years ago.
Yeah. So someone knows something. If you know something or saw something, you can contact the St. Louis Police Department. Although I might contact somebody else.
Maybe go straight to the state police or something. Yeah.
But yeah, someone knows something about this one.
Wow. This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I. Whether you're a team of 1 or 1,000, Bo Digital can help make your marketing goals a reality.
Let's be honest, most of us who run our own businesses need help in the marketing category. Either you have no clue what an algorithm is or you just don't have time to mess with it, Bo can help you with that. They offer an a la carte menu of marketing services where you can take what you need. It can be your website, your socials, newsletters, or even blogs. Bo can help you take some of it off your plate and free up time for you to focus more on the things that you love. I personally use Bo Digital in my own small business, and I love them and the team that they have and the knowledge that they possess is far beyond anything that I could do on my own. If you're looking to grow your business, you have to put a bow on it. You can reach out to them on their website, bowdigital.com, or on Facebook, BOWE digital.com.